Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see, we're back in the kitchen, and today I'll be showing you how I prep and cook my turkeys, whether it be for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. Alright, so before we get started, we're going to need a couple of things. First, you're going to need a turkey that's thawed out. You're going to need a couple of sharp knives, as well as a cutting board and a roasting pan. From there, you can also get some salt and pepper and other spices that you might want. And anything else, I'll make sure to fill you in. So let's get started. I've got a thawed out turkey, I've got my two knives, and I've got my cutting board. I'm gonna remove the packaging of the turkey. I'm also gonna remove the neck and the giblets. And then from there, I'm gonna show you guys how I remove the spine, press it flat, and prepare it to roast. All right guys, as you can see, I got my turkey out and I got the neck from the turkey out. It was just sitting in the cavity that was made from butchering the bird. So they actually didn't have any of the giblet pegs in it, so I didn't have to remove that, luckily. And as with everything we do, we're gonna try to limit our waste as much as possible. So what that means is that when I remove the spine, as well as the neck, I'm going to hold on to it and make turkey broth. If you guys do want to see how to make turkey broth, make sure you look at our previous videos. That's our third video that we've ever posted. And I make a turkey broth out of neck and turkey spine. So I'm gonna remove the spine. So to remove the spine, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop it on its chest. I'm gonna make a cut all the way down the back, all the way to the tail end. Got a nice little chunk of turkey spine right here. You can see it has a lot of meat, a lot of bone, a lot of skin. Perfect recipe to make broth. So I'm gonna make some nicks in the skin here. Lily, this is a cooking area. I'm gonna need you to get out of here, sweetheart. The main reason that we're spatchcocking the bird in the first place, however, is that this reduces the cooking time from a 4-hour or 5-hour roast, depending on the size of your bird, into something that could be as easily done within an hour and a half to 2 hours. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the leg from the rest. I'm not sure if you guys can see it in here, but there is a joint right here. And if I get in between that joint, I can separate the leg from the rest of the body. This is where something big and heavy comes in handy. Just like that. Big heavy cleaver, gets in through, no problem. Now I'm gonna do the other side. Trying to find the joint, which it looks like I got right here. I'm using the weight of the knife and it pulls it out, no problem. So I just get the rest of the connective tissue that's getting the thigh to the spine. Well, that's not pretty. All right, we've got the two thighs and we've got the torso of the bird. I'm just gonna remove the wishbone here and some of the skin here. That way I can actually break the, or dislocate the bone, the sternum here. That way I can actually lay the breast completely flat and have that cook a lot more evenly alongside the drumsticks and thighs. Okay, cool. So to do that, I'm just gonna take the skin so you guys can see. I'm just gonna find the top of it, which is about right here, which is where the joint is. I'm gonna trace along the bird, or trace along the bone, do that on the other side, and I'm just gonna get my knife under it and just trace it alongside to a point where one side gets out. I'll do the same on the other side. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend to be a bird chiropractor and press down so I can try to flatten the bird completely. Just like that, bird's flat. All right guys, here you got it. We got two thighs, we've got the chest, flattened out, no spine between. This is gonna go sit uncovered overnight in the fridge. This part is optional, but I do highly recommend it. It's gonna help draw out the moisture, let the salt really penetrate into the meat. That way it's not unseasoned. But also when it roasts, it is still gonna hold on to the fat and to the moisture that's required to make the bird juicy when you eat it. So there really is no downside. All right guys, as you can see, we have the turkey. So we left it in the fridge overnight. What we're gonna do next is I'm gonna transfer it from this roasting pan onto a lined baking sheet, but I'm going to, apart from lining it with foil, I'm also going to line it with chopped up carrots, chopped up celery, and chopped up onion. That's gonna help absorb some of the fats, that's so that it doesn't burn off, and it can actually still maybe reconstitute back into the bird. From there, once it's in the oven, we'll be making the rest of our meal, which is going to be mashed potatoes and stuffing. So our oven's gonna be preheated to 400 degrees. I'm just gonna put a meat thermometer inside here, one that is oven safe, of course, because you don't wanna go breaking thermometers. And once it hits 165, I'll be pulling the bird out. I'm gonna be sticking it here in the breast. That means that once this part, the thickest part, of course, once that's cooked, the rest should be cooked. And that's how you get very, very juicy meat. A lot of the times when you see whole birds roasted for over the span of 5 hours or 6 hours or however long it takes, the meat is incredibly dry, the skin is kind of rubbery and sad. This is gonna be the opposite. It's gonna be crispy skin, juicy, juicy meat, and it's also gonna cut down about 3 hours of the cook time. This is probably gonna take maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, but I guess we'll see. In the meantime, once this gets put into the oven, we'll be making our mashed potatoes and we'll be making our stuffing. And just like that, turkey's done.
Yay!
But you can see that the temperature is 168 Fahrenheit because it carried over cooking as I took it out of the oven. So I'm gonna let this rest for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. There's no harm in eating a warm turkey. You don't have to eat it fresh out of the oven hot because that will hurt. So let it rest a little bit, and then I'm gonna be carving it by removing the thighs. I'll be removing this thigh and that thigh. I'll be taking off the wing, and I'm going to be using that for broth for later. And then I'll be carving the breast off the breastbone and serving that up. Okay, so let's get to carving. Luckily enough, since we already kind of pre-cut the thighs, they can just come right off. I'm going to be separating the drumstick from the thigh. So all I have to do here is just transfer this to a cutting board. We'll get started. But first, I'm just going to take a cleaver, put it between these two. Oh my goodness, it is squirting juice everywhere. Sopping wet drumstick. Nice juicy thigh. Great. I'm going to be taking my knife. I'm going to be cutting it right through here, essentially just down the middle line this way and that way to separate the two. And then from there, what you can do is you can either serve it just like that, have somebody, you know, eat a whole thing, or you can cut it up into individual slices and serve it up any which way you want. I'm doing this my way, so I'm gonna keep it whole. And then when it comes to, I can split it up more down the road. There's somewhere it was, somewhere it wasn't. I just love the gram. So you might be asking yourself why I just took another spine out of another turkey. And that's because the turkey that we made, we ended up taking to a friend's house and we had to reheat it. And it ended up being tough. And well, that's not what we strive to do. We strive to have a better turkey than that. What I did is that I ripped out the spine of another turkey that we had. Luckily, as you can see, it went a lot smoother. It was fresh rather than being, you know, frozen, previously frozen. So what that means is that it's going to be sitting in the fridge overnight again. We're going to cook it the next morning and we'll give you a proper fresh turkey. What that means is that we're going to have a lot of turkey this week. And I'm very excited to make another turkey for you guys. So without further ado, let's take it to tomorrow morning. So it's been about 24 hours overnight for the second turkey in the fridge. And I can tell you right now, guys, it is dry, which is beautiful. Skin's gonna crisp up wonderfully. The bird's gonna be juicy from all the fat that it has. And yeah, I got my oven preheated to 400. I'm gonna pop this onto a lined baking sheet with onion and carrot. We'll have the turkey take 2. All right, let's get our hands dirty. Oh yeah. Just like that. Just amazing. All right, got our temperature probe again. Let's take it to the absolute deepest part. All right, let's plug this in, set it to 165 degrees, and I'll throw this in the oven once it's ready. See how long you take. To make the potato cook faster, I'm just going to chop them up, throw it into the water, put it into a pressure cooker, and that'll be that. Well, would you look at that? 2 turkeys. First one was beautiful, but this one's a masterpiece. This one took about an hour 45 instead of an hour 30 like I did last time, or about an hour that I did last time. And it's been resting for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna let it rest for another 5 and then get to butchering. What you guys also just saw was my mashed potatoes, in which I put sour cream, toasted garlic, butter, and dill, as well as salt, pepper, and garlic and paprika powder. as well as box-made stuffing, but with apples, because Kasha likes apples in her stuffing. This meal means a lot to me because Thanksgiving was one of the first times where I ever felt like I could do something so big, but do it really well. And it just fills me with joy watching my family eat well, especially Kasha, the most important part of my family. So let's get this carved up and let's get ready to eat.